Good evening. I'd like to call the study session for North Augusta City Council for Monday, November the 24th, 2025 to order. And this time I'm turning over to our Assistant City Administrator, Mr. J.D. McCauley.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As practiced, we're going to go over the agenda for next week. So if you'll open your packets, we'll go to the first agenda item for review. We're going to do Employee of the Quarter. So the fourth quarter Employee of the Quarter will be named at the at next week's City Council meeting. Then we'll move into new business, which we have a presentation on tonight. It's one of the focus items. Public safety, we're going to present an ordinance to regulate the operation of golf carts within the city of North Augusta. You'll hear more about that later. The next item on the agenda is to enter into a contract with a public defender for indigent representation. We talked about this before, but now the material is ready to present to council for consideration. I'll pause here as there's no presentation on this. Any questions from last time we talked about this? No? Nope, we got one.
Yeah, is this the position, the solicitor's position?
No, sir. This is like, so the Miranda rights, when you get read, you know, you have the right to attorney. This is when we present it. I'm going to actually turn it over to Kelly, if you don't mind, to explain this in more detail.
Well, basically, we have to provide attorneys for indigent defendants. And we started this, I think, 3 years ago with Public Defender's Office, that they provide that on a, thank goodness, a set price. And for the past 3 years, I think we're paying $14,700 a year. This year it's going up to $20,000, which is still a good arrangement for us.
And that's for as many people as we,
Yeah,
as many
at
times.
this point, yes, and in fact, I'll tell you, they did send a contract with a flat rate of $400 per, and I advised them that since one, we were beyond budget time, and that we had just not sure what that number would be, that they've agreed to just bump up from the 14,700 to 20,000. We'll see how that works.
Which is 50 cases. Is that roughly it?
Yeah, I mean, it's somewhere in that range, and quite frankly, I think we're still getting a deal based upon the people that are approved for public defender.
And that was we handed that out this evening. The contract is we got that today for you guys to review for next week's consideration. The solicitor will be advertised at the end of the week. We'll be advertising that for about a month. And so we're looking to start that position. That's more on the offense side rather than the defense, if you're a sports fan. So that'll be coming soon. Okay, no other questions on that item. We'll move on to the next item, which is Parks and Recreation. This is our annual application to the LWCF grant through SCPRT. That's a lot of letters there. That's South Carolina Parks, Recreation, and Tourism. The LWCF is the Land Water Conservation Fund. Rick has selected two projects. These are two projects that are also on CPST 5, so that will be used as the match. So that we worked that with Linda and talked about the timing of when the funds will become available for CPST 5 and when this project for this LWCF grant, the timeline fits very well. So the first project is a shade structure at Riverview Park. We've heard feedback that that's needed at that playground there. And the second project is redoing the playground at Summerfield Park. So that is, those are the two projects that Rick has selected and putting in this application with your approval through this resolution. Any questions?
Those are both good projects. I mean, I don't know how many times we've had the Public Power Hour, that group came about the shade cells. You remember, Kevin? So we definitely need that. And then, yeah, Summerville Park, got to have that playground pack. So those are good projects in my opinion.
Excellent. Okay, hearing no other questions, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is just a review of the proposed meeting schedule for 2026. That's attached in your packets. Just to remember, the state requires us to meet at least once a month, and our city ordinance requires us to meet on the first and third Mondays of the month if it doesn't fall on a holiday. And we also did a change for this year for not meeting during Masters Week, and you'll notice that has been changed in this calendar as well. Any questions on on that item? Okay, great. With your permission, Mr. Mayor, we'll move into the next part of the agenda, which is we have department details. Our directors and managers are not here this evening just because it's a holiday week. We've included the department details in your packet for review. So I'll pause if you have any specific questions there, and I can do my best to field those questions. Okay, hearing no questions about department details, we'll move on to the mayor's matters, which is our focus items. We have two presentations from our subject matter experts, which we're looking forward to hear. James Sutton is going to start us off with a sewer capacity overview, and then we'll move into a presentation about this golf cart ordinance and regulations by Chief Johnson. So, James, take it away.
James, let me just interrupt real quick. So I think might be the easiest, and you tell me if this works for you and Chief. I would think that let us hold our questions till the end, so you can kind of go through. So if you have something, write down your question, but that way let James and Chief kind of go through their presentation, and then we'll ask questions. So go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine with me, Mayor. Thank you. Okay. Mayor, Council, thank you for the opportunity to go over our wastewater collection system. Got some highlighted areas, our assets, projects, and also our wastewater treatment capacity to discuss tonight. Again, thank you. Our wastewater collection system, we call it a square miles, but it's not so much square, so we just kind of make a block around it, call it 23.5 square miles. These wastewater pipes, our customers, manholes, infrastructure is located. It's bordered by the Savannah River, Interstate I-20, over to the north side of I-20 around Walnut Lane and over to Palmetto Parkway. Our asset inventory, our greatest asset is our customers. We have 11,858 wastewater customers. We have 1,264,876 feet of pipeline that ranges in diameter from 6-inch to 30-inch, made of various materials, clay, PVC, ductile iron. We have manholes that are junctions, so we can do pipe maintenance, inspections, pipe cleaning, run cameras from one end of the pipe to the other from manhole to manhole, and check the integrity of the pipe system. And so we have 22 lift stations that are located in various areas, and they're scattered out in the low-level areas of the city that pumps the wastewater to the higher elevations into our gravity system. The lower left-hand, that lower left-hand picture is a kind of illustration of one of our lift stations in the city, and some of the concrete pipe and one of the manholes in the right-hand corner is the frame that we pop off and look down into the pipe system. Some of our infrastructure improvements has been ongoing for the last couple of years. They're good projects. They're needed projects to renew our pipes and our manholes. They're all ongoing as of right now. None of them's been closed out or completed. We have the Carolina Springs lift station that's in the lower left corner. We anticipate having it replaced by mid-May of 26. We also have some good subdivision projects going in Kreslin, Lyndhurst subdivisions where we are rehabilitating a little over 40,000 feet of 8-inch clay pipe and 309 brick manholes total. That's a good project. It's going to renew the infrastructure for at least 50 years plus to come. The industrial park, in the same, we got 8,053 feet of 15-inch pipe that's going to be relined and renewed over there. It handles all the flow that comes off of US 1. It goes through the industrial park, Dittman Road, over to TTX trailer train, and goes down to the wastewater treatment plant. So that's a much needed project as well to renew that. There's a lot of flow that's going through that system. Our interceptor pipes are pretty much have already been relined. Manholes are about completed with the rehabilitation. We have a crew SAK Constructions on site this week. They pipe bursted a large amount of pipe under Atomic Road that couldn't be relined with a liner. I think they've completed that, and they're also working right now around Riverside Boulevard along the trail. They got a small section of pipeline to pipe burst down there. So they'll be working down there until they complete that project. We'll be able to close that one out here in the near future. Now this is flow. this is what we receive pretty much on a daily basis from our wastewater customers. We convey about 4.8 million gallons a day through our collection system for our customers and also Edgefield County's customers. They send in about 2 million gallons a day through the collection system. So our customers about 2.8, Edgefield County about 2 million. So that's conveyed through our system to the wastewater treatment plant over Atomic Road. Okay, purchase capacity. Back in 1983, the city of North Augusta entered an agreement with Aiken County Public Service Authority to purchase wastewater capacity. Over the years, we've accumulated 8.6 million gallons of wastewater treatment capacity through that plant per day. It handles all the customer types, commercial, industrial, municipal, residential, and also the utility of Edgefield. Our allocated capacity. The term we use for allocated capacity is when we have a development plan that comes in and it's approved, we then look at the engineer's calculations. Our engineering department makes sure they're correct. Then we submit a letter of request to Aiken County advising them that we want to allocate X amount of gallons against our purchase capacity on the previous slide. We get a letter from them with that authorization. Then the engineers submit documents to South Carolina Department of Environmental Services to get a permit for that capacity. Once we receive that permit, everything's locked in and it's allocated. There's kind of no turning back at that point. The flow's pretty much been, the check's been cashed, if you will. Some of the examples of our projects that have had allocated wastewater flow in the last few years is the Bluegrass Infrastructure, Russian Waters, the Hive, and Walnut Grove. Now, although you don't see a house on any of these parcels, that flow has already been, that check's been cashed, if you will. Capacity's been allocated. So it's been taken against our purchase capacity. So that right now, and that includes all our existing customers, Industrial Park, Hammond Hills, just all our existing customers. We're at 6.4 million gallons a day. That's what our allocated capacity is. Got a little word change up on this slide here. This is reserve capacity. I got allocated, so it should say reserved in the sentence. But North Augusta's reserve treatment capacity right now is right at 1.5 million gallons a day. Now, reserve capacity is stowing to flow in a safe deposit box. We get a set of plans, development approves those plans. We approve that capacity through the South Carolina Department of Environmental Services. Then typically we'll have a pending permit through the, let me back up, a pending permit through the South Carolina Environmental Services. So that flow right there just sits until we get that permit from that engineer saying that the project's underway. So a good example of that is master plans, like the Alladade. It's a large development off Highway 25. It's got over 1,200 plus residential homes. That 1.5 million gallons is a part of that, and it's in reserve. And that number's been deducted from our purchase capacity. Carolina Lakes is the most previous master plan, and that flow as well, that capacity for all those homes has been taken off our purchase capacity. And here's a summary breakdown of everything. Our initial purchase capacity is 8.672 million gallons a day. We've allocated 6.462 million gallons a day, and a subtotal of 2.210 million gallons a day. We have right now in reserve pending, the master plan's getting permits, and it's going to take a while to get them all because they build them in phases. Phase 1, 2, 3, or whatever they tag them. 1.497. So right now, the unallocated capacity that the city can use for any project they so choose is 713,000 gallons per day. That can be used for municipal, industrial, commercial, or residential, or whatever you also choose to apply that for. Aiken County's got a lot going on related to wastewater treatment. I've been involved in a couple of meetings related to their plant expansion. I've been put on one of the committees for a study. But right now, we went through back in 24 and 25, the city and all the local utility agencies went through a South Carolina Department of Environmental Systems Services audit, where they come in, look at all the permits they had, compared them to the county, and they sent us that list. When we got the list, there was a lot of stuff on there that needed to be adjusted by every utility agency. So we went through that motion there, and it took a long time to get where we're at today. And that study, pretty much our audit's not 100% complete. We know where we're at, but we got to make a couple adjustments, and we'll be able to finalize those numbers in the near future. But that 713 million gallons a day is locked in. They also, Aiken County has approved lowering of the limit on the 300 gallons per day per residential unit. They allowed a 25 gallon per day reduction and brought that down to 275 gallons per day. That just eases a little bit of the flows. Whenever you turn in 100 homes, you get a little bit of a discount and maintain some of your capacity. They're doing that so that they can get through with things until this treatment facility is expanded. And with that being said, they're working on a 26 million gallon expansion. So they're going to increase that plant by 6 million gallons. And that's my estimated numbers up there from dealing with Saluda County's expansion. I'm saying 2028 or 2029, that plant will be complete. Hopefully sooner, but not later, but we'll see. Here's the big key. Future capacity cost for all agencies is increased from 48 cents per gallon to $10.89 per gallon. So that is a big amount of difference. And we're going to have the opportunity to purchase additional capacity right now. But when we do so, with our figures, it's going to cost us $10.89 a gallon. Back to the utility joint committee. They're looking at beyond that 6 million gallons to come up with a study to see what all agencies are going to need on capacity for future development beyond this 6 million gallon treatment upgrade. We'll be meeting with some engineering firms and going through that and looking at some projections on our end to see exactly what our needs are going to be beyond that 6 million gallon upgrade that's going to take place. So, lots got to be done, and there's going to be a lot of funding involved in increasing our capacity as needed. Any questions?
Sorry. So I think the main thing we need to know when we get to the allocated capacity, that's the 6.4 million gallons per day. And you gave examples of Bluegrass, the Hive, and all that. So then the reserve, so the main point is I'm going to use everything that we have coming down the pike on the books. We've accounted for that.
Yes, sir.
And that's going to be under the allocated, or is that the reserve?
Allocated and reserve comes off of that purchase capacity amount.
So like Alliday, that used to be called Highland Springs.
That's correct.
We're covered.
Yes, sir.
I don't know why I should know this, so tell me about Carolina Lakes. What is that?
That's the development about Gregory Lake Road. I think it's, if you're familiar with Mr. Baggett.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's, I believe they owned that property at one time. if I'm
But
not
when
mistaken.
you talk about the SCDS pending permit, before you had said once the development plan, the approved capacity, and then once the permit is issued, at that point, the check's been cashed, that's official.
Yes.
Until that permit is passed, there's still flexibility there?
Yes, sir. If they cancel the project,
Okay.
that flow goes back from the reserve back into the unallocated.
And the pending permit, is that, that's being driven by the development as far as the point to where they're ready for that permit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just,
And we've got a couple now that's been out there on the books for quite some time that we're dealing with
Yeah.
to see what direction they're gonna go in, because we just can't sit and wait, have
Right.
capacity
there-
tied up.
is there a way to determine, what does 713 million gallons mean to us? The unallocated.
713,000 on that.
I mean, 713,000.
That means, well, if you come in today with some development plans and it was approved, I'd give you 2,500 residential homes, which is a lot of homes. That's what that capacity would do.
About 2,500 homes.
Yes, sir. It would, give you another example. If you put in a QT and they average about 9,000 gallons per day, you get a lot of QTs out of 700,000 gallons a day.
That's a quick trip.
Yeah, I'm
Convenience
sorry.
store.
Yeah. So when you look at that number compared to what we had, 40 years ago, you see a significant difference. And I would like to add to this, it's just not that 8.672 is North Augustus. We still do have a good relationship with Edgefield, but initially back in the early 90s, Edgefield and North Augusta joined forces and built a pipeline that handled the regional wastewater collection system that flows from Saluda, Edgefield, and all the way over to the Aiken County's Public Service Authority's Horse Creek Treatment Plant. There's been a capital investment put into with Edgefield County and North Augusta, joint effort to get that pipeline in. We bill for that monthly now, and Edgefield owns 1.8 million at 8.76. So our balance is a little less than that we use for our customers. And with that being said, and you don't want to say too much, but Edgefield's totally out of capacity right now. They have none to distribute. And there's other agencies that are really getting near the zero. So it's just, I think we're in pretty good shape when it's compared to others.
But we're in no danger. I mean, because how the word was out on the streets that we didn't have enough for these new buildings coming in. I mean, all that's okay, water supply.
Everything that's been approved on the books.
Ah.
Everything that's been approved.
Yeah,
Highland
all right, now
Springs
what
hasn't-
about-
All the houses haven't been built.
Hammond Pond, we saw last, is that already under us and water?
It will be.
It will be.
That's like 40.
And it's not a whole lot of
That's hardly enough.
capacity.
Mr. Sutton, what happens in the case of like Rushing Waters, where they had a certain number of houses allocated and now they've shrunk down and it's not going to be as big?
That flow gets reallocated back to our unallocated capacity.
Okay.
And actually, we're dealing with something similar to that right now.
And then I guess, so if we get to the point, you got a commercial industrial building that needs the additional capacity, who's paying for the 1089 for that capacity to be brought in?
Well, just my experience with our utilities and our funding, I don't see, y'all can override anything I say, but it's going to be hard to withdraw that money out of our utility account with all the infrastructure we have to maintain, repair, and improve. It's like everything else. It's probably going to go back to either the person building the house or developing the property. But that's just my thought. I don't make that, y'all will make that final decision on that, and I will follow your lead on it. Or
Thank you.
whatever you say.
Mr. Sutton, you talked about some expansion at the Horse Creek facility. Is that an additional 6 million gallons a day?
Yes, sir.
Is that right? And that 1089 per gallon, is it because there is so limited amount of capacity left? Will that additional 6 million gallon capacity change that 1089 number?
No, sir, that's the new number. If you look
Supply
back
and
at,
demand.
I'm sorry?
It's not a supply and demand number. It's
No,
not
sir.
that-
No, sir. They, back in the day, I think it was 2012, don't quote me on that year, it was 45, 48 cents per gallon. I don't know. I didn't do the math on it. I don't know the reason, but it's a substantial increase. If you take that 1089 and multiply it by 6 million, so, this project, I don't know what they got built into it, but it's over $60 million project.
It's about a 4,000% increase.
Yes, sir.
Didn't they go for years and years without ever changing the rate? And so it's kind of like inflation's finally catching up.
Perhaps a lot, yeah. I'm not exactly sure, exactly what caused, the situation that's at hand, but I just know what we're having to do today.
Where does the burden of solution to this issue for extra capacity fall? Does it fall to the city? Does it fall to the county? Does it fall to a combination of those?
Well, the wastewater treatment plant's governed by Aiken County. They are in charge of those operations and make decisions on what they're going to do with their plant, whether they're going to expand it or not. They do reach out to other agencies and have discussions with them from time to time, but right now that 6 million gallons a day is a much needed project for Aiken County.
Is there federal assistance available for that?
I don't know exactly. I know that they're working through a state grant on the study they're going to do after this 6 million. They've got a grant approved to do a study for needs after this plant expansion is built. But I don't know exactly 100% whether, I don't think there's been a bond or how they've accumulated the funds to pay for this project.
Real quick, just two quick questions. Is that expansion already like underway?
It is, but I don't think there's machinery and equipment
I
on the
got you,
ground. Yeah.
but I mean,
I think they're probably in the engineering stage of things.
But
Yeah.
it has started, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's my
Number
understanding.
two, the future capacity cost, that's just a one-time charge, correct?
To us,
Like if we needed to purchase additional,
if we wanted to go out and purchase 1 million
Yeah,
gallons and it's
it'd be
going to cost us
just a
10 million plus,
yeah,
then
it'd just be one time though, right?
yes, sir.
All I got.
Okay, so I'm doing a little math over here, Mr. James. Everything is developed. That takes us up to 7.96 million gallons a day. If we add the reserve and what's planned and what we're currently using, correct?
I'll take your word for it.
So that leaves us with 0.71 million gallons a day. That puts us at 92% capacity. This is something I've been researching on with infrastructure. Any infrastructure you take between 85 and 95% is considered critical. So at the point we're operating at 92% capacity, we are considered critical by the national standard.
Well, it depends on if you're going to do any more development. If somebody's going to walk through the door that needs 100 gallons a day or 50,000 gallons a day, or you got an industry that comes down in North Augusta and they would require 200,000 a day.
I guess this is going to be more for Mr. McCauley. Mr. McCauley, is there a formal policy for the city of North Augusta where we hit a certain capacity and we don't approve any more development?
No, I'm not aware that we currently have a policy in place for that. But I do know that we won't issue permits if we are out of capacity because we're unable to do so.
When it rains, the water that is collected in our sewer, is that considered part of this capacity?
No, sir.
That's going to be stormwater.
Goes back to that 4.8.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and just, Mr. Bradico, our water plant's a little different. We govern the water plant. We hit 80% capacity on that. We've got to do an evaluation study, a PER, to see about upgrading that plant. That's going to be a requirement from the state. Aiken County, they govern the wastewater treatment plant. We have the capacity. I don't, other than, we've had some internal discussions administrative wise, and they may or may not bring it to you, so I really don't, anyway, there are reasons in some cases to hold back a little capacity for economic development, but just holding it back, we're not going to be in any type of permitting issues through the state that would cause us any type of fines or any of the above. I don't know that we just want to just hold the capacity unless it was for something like economic development.
So this is what I'm picking up. We're going to 92% capacity. It'll leave us about 713,000 gallons a day. We don't have a formal policy to stop development once we hit, critical, which we already considered at. We are expanding in Aiken, but Aiken is pretty much saying, hey, that the county's saying that 6 million gallons is ours. And if there is any we could buy, it's going to cost us 4,000% to purchase them.
Well, they're giving the agencies the opportunity to purchase the capacity. That's something that we need to look at, and we're looking at our build out in our system, and we got some numbers together. But, yeah, there's probably going to become a point, but it's not today, where we're going to need more capacity for development. I just don't know when that's going to be. But policies are good, and we got to abide by them and follow them. But I just don't know, other than, in my mind, economic development is something that's important. It's important to have. It's good for our citizens. Home development's good as well. We've had a lot of homes built. That's great. Been a lot of capacity issues to the homes. The Hive's got some commercial work working in with it. That capacity's been registered and it's on the books with them. Same thing for Bluegrass. But y'all would have to decide on if you just want to hold back no more building just to keep capacity and not use what we have. That will be up to the council to
So,
make.
a couple things. This is the first step. That's why we're having this conversation. The Planning Commission has seen this. Now, it's important for council to know exactly what the Planning Commission is. But the reality is that, y'all listen to this, you ask these questions. The point is, what citizens need to understand, everything that's on our books that we have approved that hadn't been built is covered. We don't have it. Where this is going to come into our issue is if there's 2,000 acres of land in the county and they come to us and they want us to annex that property in that hypothetical example, okay? Is that going to be a problem? Absolutely. Is that happening? No. And then as a council, that's where we would say, hey, you know what? You pay for the capacity, not us, okay? So the administration, James is on top of this. He and the administration are working on this. There will be conversations for us because there will come a point where we'll want to have some kind of, whether it's policy or whatever, the question is, what do we do? And we have never had that situation to say, does you as a developer, you want us to annex in? Well, guess what? You're going to have to fork up the money to do it. So to your point, we haven't done that because we haven't needed to. What I want everyone to feel good about is, like James has said, and citizens need to understand, we aren't running out of capacity tomorrow, okay? What we have planned, we're good. The challenge will be if something comes to us as a council that is just really, really big. And but our goal is to already, before that happens or when that happens, to have a plan in place to address it. So we will have some conversations. We will have to decide on that, on what we want to do. But it's not like we're in any kind of dire strait that's going to happen tomorrow. So we're doing everything we need to be doing as far as James' administration, working with the county. So yeah, they'll come back there and say, hey, here's what new capacity we need to buy. We'll have to make that decision. So we as a council will absolutely have some decisions to make. But we are not in dire, because there's no dire project that's coming tomorrow that says, hey, if we do this project tomorrow, we're in trouble. We've got enough to keep our directors and our staff busy with just existing projects. But these are all very good questions. Any other questions for James? Kevin, you got anything? Good. James, fine job, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, James. And now it's over to Chief to talk about golf carts and our golf cart ordinance that's proposed before you in your packets.
Thanks, Chief. All yours.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. What we have here tonight, if you look at those pictures right there, I want you to focus on that one on the bottom right. Earlier this year, the state legislature passed a new golf cart law which required seatbelts in every golf cart for anyone under the age of 12. Many people are unaware of that. We wanted to make sure we draw attention to that tonight. Is that it's a state requirement. That's why we put that picture up there so people can see the seatbelts on the golf carts. If you're on a roadway under 12, you have to have it. So the purpose of tonight's thing, provide background on the state law change related to golf carts, list out the state requirements, list out the allowed changes that they allow municipalities to change, and to look at what some of the other cities around the state have done, and also to receive guidance from each one of y'all on how you want this ordinance to go. So the background, state legislature passed 56-2-90, operating a golf cart on a public highway, effective May 22nd, 2025. And this established rules that applied statewide, but it had a little provision in there that allowed municipalities or counties to adjust certain portions of the law. So what is required by the state? All golf carts must have a permit decal and registration certificate from the Department of Motor Vehicles. You pick it up just like you would go get a new tag on your car. When you get a golf cart, you have to go up there and get that, and it's only good for a certain period of time. You have to renew it just like you do the tag on your car. But in order to get that, you had to have proof of ownership, proof of liability insurance, and pay a $5 DMV fee. The city has nothing to do with any of that. All that has to be done through the DMV. The driver must be 16 years of age and have a valid driver's license. So if you see kids riding in a neighborhood driving a golf cart under the age of 16, that's against the law. They're not supposed to be doing that. If you see it, notify public safety. The following must be in their possession when they're operating a golf cart: the registration certificate, proof of liability insurance, and their driver's license. Each golf cart passenger under the age of 12 must wear a seatbelt when operated on a roadway. All those are required from the state. You can't change those as a local council. So what can you change? I'm going to go through a bunch of these different changes. Some of them we may look at changing. Other ones will be way too costly to look at changing. Municipality may set the following: hours, methods, and locations of golf cart operations. Golf carts may be operated only on a highway where the speed limit is 35 or less. So they allow you to make some changes, but they still put restrictions on them as well. Permit the operation of golf carts at night. Golf carts must be equipped with working headlights and taillights, and golf carts may be operated only on a highway where the speed limit is 35 or less. Another change they offered: permit operation on the shoulder of primary highways, secondary highways, streets, and roads. Designate separate golf cart paths for the purpose of golf cart transportation. If this is a path that you choose, like if you wanted to put a golf cart lane in next to Highway 25, you have to obtain necessary approvals to create golf cart paths, and the golf cart path must be separated from the traffic lanes by a hard curb or parking spaces, or separated from the traffic lanes by a distance of 4 feet or more. So what happens if you take no action? The law passed back in May. It became effective in May. So if you take no action, this is what all the state requirements that we covered earlier apply: the permit, insurance, driver's license, seat belts. You can only operate it during daylight hours, only on a secondary highway where the speed limit is 35 or less, operated within 4 miles of an address. You can cross the highway at an intersection where the speed limit is 35 miles per hour or less. And let me explain a little bit of that to you while we're on those. Secondary highway. So you can't drive a golf cart up Georgia Avenue. It's a primary highway. It's US 25 business route. But if you're on Spring Grove or you're on Pine Grove, you can cross Georgia Avenue. So like, let's say you were at Hammond Hills and you wanted to go across through there, you could go through there, cross Spring Grove, go into the back of the shopping centers, and you could even cross Martintown Road at the red light and go up to Walmart if you wanted to do that, so that you could go through there. Or you could, if you were in, we use Hammond Hills again, you could just go down to the ball field because you don't have to cross any primary highways doing that. And the last thing that a lot of people don't think, they think that alcohol violations and other South Carolina moving laws don't apply to golf carts. They do. You can be charged with DUI, open container, and all the other laws that apply to moving vehicles. Just like parking a golf cart, you're supposed to park in a parking space just like you would with a vehicle. All that still applies. So what have some other municipalities done that changed it? I researched through the Post and Courier from different things around the state. As you see, Tega K allows for all-night operation. Goose Creek allows for all-night operation. Conway allows for operation until 11 p.m. North Myrtle Beach didn't change it. They just changed the wording from sun up to sundown, so it's only during daylight hours. All right, next one. So recommendations, what do we want to do in North Augusta? Well, that's for you to decide, but we have a couple of things that we'd like to recommend. Language in the ordinance that meets all state requirements. That way, everything the state requires, we have it written in our city ordinance as well, so there's no confusion there. Permit operation only on secondary highways with a speed limit 35 miles per hour or less. Golf carts may cross streets or highways at intersections, even if the cross street has a higher speed limit. Just like we said, if you were leaving on Bunning Drive, you could go across Martintown Road. You know, the speed limit on Martintown right there is 40, but you can still cross the road there. But you can't get on Martintown and go with traffic. An operation permitted within 4 miles of the address of registration. Other recommendations. Our recommendation is that golf carts may be operated after sunrise to 11 p.m. if the golf cart is equipped with the following: headlights, tail lights, brake lights, reflectors, front, rear, and sides, and a rear-facing mirror. How did we choose 11 o'clock, you ask? Well, North Augusta is a very unique city with our baseball stadium. Most of those games start at 7 o'clock, in between 9:30 and 10. What this does, this allows people that live close to there that don't have to get on a primary highway, could drive a golf cart down to the game, go back home. Or if you and your family wanted to go get dinner, you could go to one of the commercial districts as long as you weren't driving on the primary highways and eat dinner and go back home at a reasonable hour. North Augusta is a bedroom community, and we don't need people out riding golf carts all night long, because what we don't want to do is allow people to think that that is a way to get out of a DUI, that you can go somewhere drinking and just drive a golf cart home and it's okay, because you're not going to do that. That's why we suggest the 11 o'clock time, so that our families in town can have a wonderful time, yet still be safe throughout the night. Nighttime operation is prohibited during conditions of poor visibility unless the vehicle is equipped with a functional windshield and wipers. What we don't want is for somebody to go riding down the road at night in the pouring down rain, and as the rain's hitting the windshield, not be able to see where they're going and hit something. And that's why that's in there. But if they have wipers and windshields just like a car, that would be okay. The city, and going forward, the city may restrict nighttime golf cart operation in specific areas through signage or future ordinance amendments. If you take this path and it doesn't work, we can come back and adjust it. Additional provisions: golf carts may not be operated on sidewalks, bike paths, the greenway, or unpaved trails. Almost all of those trails are already set up where it's not for motorized vehicles. We want to make sure it stays that way. Golf carts may not be operated in public parks off roadways or pedestrian malls unless expressly permitted by city signage. So let's think about Riverview Park. If you go in Riverview Park, you come in from the Fairfield Avenue side and go to the traffic circle, and then you exit out towards Buena Vista. That's a roadway. That's perfect for driving. What we don't want is people getting off of that roadway, riding through the grass where kids are playing. You got to stay on the roadway. We don't want you riding through public parks. And you think back Summerfield Park. We were talking about it earlier with the soccer field. We don't want people driving their golf carts out on the soccer fields. Stay on the roadway in the parking areas. And golf carts are prohibited on private property without permission from the property owner. That way they're not riding on someone else's property. The fine for violations would be $100. This is the exact same as it is in 56-2-90 in the South Carolina Code of Laws. That way the fine is the same as the state statute. So, having presented all that, does anyone have any questions for me and further discussion amongst y'all?
I do have a question. I think this is really good. My question is the 4 miles. So I'm thinking if I live over, if I'm over off Bunning, if I want to go to Riverview down by the baseball game, is that more than 4 miles?
No,
I mean,
sir. That's less than 4.
So there's not any place around where 4 miles is going to be an issue is what I'm saying.
It shouldn't be with the not being able to drive on a primary highway or a road with a speed limit greater than 35.
Okay.
We all know Martintown Road in Georgia are major. What about Buena Vista?
So Buena Vista from Georgia Avenue down and then turning left on Atomic is SC 125.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a
major
state road, state primary road.
Primary road. Is there any road that you can think of that would be primary we couldn't think of?
So you have 125, 126, which is Belvedere Clearwater Road,
Okay.
230, which is Martintown Road. And then that should 121, which is also US 25.
Now, the only thing I've seen about, I like the golf carts, but like if I'm on Woodlawn Avenue, some of them don't go. How fast does the golf cart go, y'all? I don't know. I mean, if you're going 35
That
and they're only
depends on the
going 20,
manufacturer's settings.
do you pass them? If
Well,
they're only
yeah.
going 20 miles an hour?
Yeah, what is the rule on that?
So you're to treat it like a motor vehicle. If they're going, if the speed limit on Woodlawn is 30, if they're
Yeah.
going 20, then you need to be going 20 behind them.
And you can pass them?
So as long as it's a safe passing area and it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
marked as a non-passing
Right,
zone.
right.
And you still, when you pass a vehicle, a lot of people don't think about it, you're not supposed to exceed the posted speed limit when you're passing. So as long as you can go around that golf cart without going over 30 miles an hour, yes, ma'am, you can pass.
You know, we've been
Yes, I
asked,
can do that.
we got asked a lot about, this kind of got driven by a lot of folks about the time. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
But for me, what would you say? I mean, I look at what the state law is. I would bet 3/4 of the golf carts out there are not abiding by state law. They sure don't have seat belts. I can't tell you how many children are driving under 16
Oh,
years
yeah.
old.
See them
I mean,
all the time.
I guess the issue is how we want to enforce this, because we can pass this ordinance, but I'm telling you, I mean, there are,
And you what?
I bet you'd be writing tickets all day long.
Well, and it's just, the enforcement will be similar to the way it works now. Is because most of them aren't out on Georgia Avenue. We'll see them at various places, and you would be surprised the amount of them that you know about this decal, that you'll see the little blue DMV sticker on the windshield that have that. And the other thing is, in neighborhoods with kids driving, we can't be everywhere at one time, so we depend on the citizens to notify us, and we'll go out and ride those neighborhoods when they say there's children younger than 16 driving, so that we can go out there and see if we can deter them from doing it in the future.
And I presume when they get their little sticker, they're told your license, registration, insurance cards has to be in that golf cart.
I don't know what the
You don't know.
DMV tells them.
Is there a way, if we pass this ordinance, that maybe we could do some type of educational, you know,
Yeah.
have an officer down at SRP Park, or, you know, and spend some time just kind of handouts, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I mean, we got to figure out a way to educate people, because, I mean, we pass this ordinance, and next thing we know, we're going to get
And
20 calls. You know,
the other problem is, if you don't do anything with this ordinance, most of those laws you're referring to already apply.
I know, but we're not applying.
And so, and like when the law passed, we did a social media post to try to notify people.
Chief, this says each golf cart passenger under the age of 12 must wear a seatbelt when operated on the roadway. Does that mean if you're above the age of 12, you don't have to wear a seatbelt on the golf cart?
That's correct. And that's the South Carolina law.
How do you feel about that? Have you seen a golf cart roll over and the batteries come out?
So that's South Carolina legislature law. I can't change it.
Two quick things. Turn signals.
Yes, sir.
I don't see it in there. Are they supposed to have turn signals? I mean, I see brake lights, headlights, taillights,
So
but it doesn't specify turn signals. I'm just saying for night. I mean, you can't see them doing the directions. You know, like
I've seen this.
yeah. I mean, you see that, but I'm just saying at night you can't see it.
So I can make a note. Does anybody else have any comments on blinkers?
Do golf carts typically have a speedometer?
No, sir.
They do not.
And one more, Atomic Road, not Atomic Road, but 5 Notch Road. Part of it's 45, part of it's 35. I think I'm going to drive on the 35 part
On
of
the
Atomic Road.
35 part, it is legal because that's a secondary road.
That's going to slow traffic down.
So we can't supersede state law, that I get. But we can, is that saying that because this says under the age of 12 that we can't raise that age or require everybody on that golf cart to wear a seatbelt?
No, sir. And that's what me and Attorney Zier discussed that earlier today, and I'll let him opine on that if he
Well,
would.
yeah, we looked at it, and I agree with you. It's ridiculous that I can't drive my car at that same place without a seatbelt on. But we can let people be in a golf cart and not have a seatbelt. But the law, I went back and read it because I talked with the chief about this. It says a municipality or a county within its incorporated portions may, by ordinance, stipulate the hours, methods, and location of golf cart operations. That's what it gives us the right to do, not change the other regulations.
This is another one that we can't do anything about, but the rear-facing seats, to me, you should all be required to wear a seatbelt if you're in a rear-facing seat. I don't care if you're my age. It's just too easy to fall off with one of those things if you take off too fast. And the other thing I'd be concerned about is minimum speed. Minimum speed, because you have minimum speeds certainly on the interstate. You can't go too slow. But a golf cart that's going up, say, Carolina Avenue with a back of 6 people may not be able to go much more than 10 or 15 miles per hour, and you may not have an area that you can pass them. I just think it'd be a dangerous spot.
And we are not allowed to address that.
Can't change that either. No. But the state can.
Right.
Okay.
I agree with you, John. If those rear-facing seats, that
They're
terrifies me in those seats. But if you get hit on a golf cart at 35 miles an hour, if you're 13 years old and you're not wearing a seatbelt, you're toast.
I'm not sure if you're wearing a seatbelt, you're not toast, but you definitely are if you don't have a seatbelt on.
And I believe taillights were mentioned on there. They must have
Yes, sir.
taillights as well, because you can easily come up on a slow-moving vehicle that could be blocked by someone's leg guarding a taillight and not see the taillight. That was when I was a young teenager, I had some people that I knew that were killed because they were pushing a car and you couldn't see the taillights and the car just came up on them and crushed them. So visible taillights and the side lights are critical as well. And I think that's going to be the biggest issue, is enforcing all of those golf carts that's out there. That's a lot of extra equipment. So the cost of these golf carts that are legal are going to be considerable. They've got to be $5,000 to $6,000 to $7,000 for a vehicle, I would think. Higher than that.
And they sell aftermarket kits to put these things on there if you have an older cart, to outfit it with seatbelts as well.
Is there a business in North Augusta that does that? It's a business waiting to happen.
So they probably will be.
Yeah.
Chief, just to the 11 o'clock, I mean, I know sometimes you get a game, you get a rain delay and things like that, and it can really extend out. I'm just in firework nights, things like that. Are we good? The 11 o'clock, we know that, things don't really run past then.
So I'm going to counter that with, the question is, are y'all good with 11 o'clock?
I am. I mean, I think past 11 o'clock, I mean, there's only one thing you're going to be doing past 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
You're gonna
I
be
mean,
drinking
I'm
alcohol.
almost saying, I would say midnight would be kind of my cutoff. I don't think anybody needs to be out past midnight on a golf cart, but I just, don't want people to get stuck,
Yeah, I think that's a very particular case. And I mean, would we have the ability to, it probably gets overly complicated and the answer may be no just because of that, but to carve out, within a certain distance around Riverside Village, it's extended to, or the ballpark, it's extended to 12, but the rest of the city, I mean, especially some of these areas out on the fringe for lighting and stuff, I don't know what the difference between 11 and 12, but restricting it, I think, may make sense outside of that. But for that particular case in those scenarios, make it for.
And I think most of the nights that have fireworks start early for that reason too. They start a little bit earlier.
At his point, I've been to a couple of games with a rain delay where they've gone to 11:30, 11:45.
I think
Bit rare.
if you use the convenience of a golf cart to get to the game, you forgo the right to stay past 11 o'clock.
Yeah, well, maybe that's fair too.
You gotta leave.
Well, the noise ordinance is what, 11? What's the order? 10, yeah. 10. So, I mean, like your fireworks, they'd have to be over. I know when we worked on the SRP.
I mean, if it's gonna, I mean, you normally, I mean, very rarely, I don't know if you've ever been to a ball game where it's sunny and it's nice and all of a sudden it starts raining. I mean, going in that it's gonna be, I mean, I just don't, I hear you. That is just, to me, is just too small of a, it's outlier, yeah. I don't see, I mean, I don't know. I think we're just adding danger. I can't understand. There would be no reason, except for that one situation, why you would need to be on a golf cart past 11 o'clock, because our restaurants are not serving meals at 11 o'clock. I don't see it. Well, that's different. That's a different world.
North Myrtle Beach would not let them, they just did sun up to sundown, no golf carts after dark.
That's what we have now. That's what we have now. We're trying to expand it. So we need to do a night. I'm good with 11.
I think 11 makes sense. I mean, again, I totally understand that case, but I think it's probably such a fringe case that you're there, you need to leave or cancel it.
I mean, I think the biggest challenge is going to be, are we going to enforce this? I mean, that's the bottom.
Well, that was a challenge years ago with Riverside Village. Who's going to enforce all those things? Parking and all down there. I mean, that's just,
Yeah, but we're going to have to enforce it one way or another because it's the law of the land now. So, I mean, the enforcement's going to occur. It's just what parameters we want to put around it. So I'm comfortable, at least without giving it any more thought than I have just reading it over the last couple of days with the recommendations that have been made. Seem to make sense. They seem to fit kind of what a lot of people are probably doing anyway, but put some guidelines around it. So I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with what's been proposed, with the exception, I do think turn signals. I missed that. That's a good point.
Good call. I'm with you, Kevin. I'm fine with it. Oh, there are going to be some of these golf carts that don't have anything. They're definitely going to need to hire the guy, buy the kid. I can assure you. That's about 5 today. Okay,
They're going to be
three young people riding on the front.
There are going to be kids out there tomorrow putting $1,000 worth of stereo equipment on the golf cart, and you'll be able to hear them coming a mile away too.
To Dennis's point, though, I mean, the whole seatbelt thing, and I know there's nothing we can do about it, but I would encourage those that are listening and those sitting in here that we reach out and maybe express a desire that the state rethink that if we truly have no ability to put further constraints on it locally. That doesn't, that just doesn't jive for me, but.
Okay, anything else for Chief? If not, that's what he's going to go with on the resolution for next week. Monday. Any other thoughts? Y'all good? All right, then you've got
Thank you.
your guidance. Thank you, Chief. It's good stuff.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, that completes our review for this evening and our presentations, and I'll turn it back to you.
All right, I've got 3 things, then we'll let everybody here go and tell what they're thankful for as we get near the holiday. Just want a couple reminders. December the 2nd is our Christmas tree lighting, and I'm real excited that Patrick and Casey Zier's little daughter, Maddie, will be flipping the switch. And if you don't know, her grandfather is an astute city council attorney for us. So we're excited about Maddie. She fired up about it, isn't she? You've been right. Yeah. Yeah, Annie did last year, 2 years ago. Yeah, so that's good. December the 7th is a Lions Christmas parade. Hopefully the weather will be good, but we'll have the golf cart decorated, and we all have our new shirts, so we'll walk as a council. You can bring your dog. All accessible, so we'll do that. November 29th, I'll give a little shout out to Jen McCauley and Fleet Feet. The Palmetto Peach Half Marathon, 10K and 5K will be on November 29th from 8 to 12. Are you running that again, you and you're really? Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, and then we'll start with Mr. Felak. Thanksgiving's coming in a couple of days. What are you thankful for this Thanksgiving, John, that you want to share?
Well, I have the great privilege of my son moving back into town. So got 2 granddaughters that are close by. So family time's a lot more often. So very thankful for that.
Robert?
Kind of on a similar note, we've had, our family has been kind of split up for a while, and over the last 2 months, we've kind of got everybody back together, and so thankful to have actually all my kids, grandkids, and friends and boyfriends, and everybody will be at our house for Thanksgiving this year, so it's going to be a blessing.
Well, I'm thankful for my family. They all here, and hopefully always will be here. But they support me in everything I do because Pat's out and gone, and I do thank them for that. And I just thank for this city of North Augusta. I tell people a lot of times, I look on the city as my brother or sister.
Kelly, what about you? You got anything?
Well, I'd have kind of like everybody else, children, grandchildren, and family time.
I agree. I'm thankful for my family, but I'll tell you, I was thinking about today. I am thankful that I live, but I'm the mayor in a godly city as North Augusta. There are communities that aren't able to do the things we are doing in this community as faith believers, and that's pretty exciting. So that's a big thing I'm very thankful for this holiday. Kevin?
Thankful both kids will be home. Thankful for the hope that, you know, they're not here now. They don't live here, that maybe someday they'll come back. So thankful for that glimmer of hope that you guys gave me tonight. And again, just thankful for the privilege to serve this city. It's an honor, and I don't take it lightly.
I think previous years, it's family cliche being on city council, but right now one of my best friends is battling cancer. So I'm very thankful for my health and the health of my family.
Amen. That. Mr. Bretta Cole.
We're taking my mom up to Pennsylvania to see family we haven't seen in a couple of decades, and there is snow on the forecast for where we're going
Really?
Friday.
You driving or flying?
We're driving hard.
Make sure you got your seatbelt on.
That's right. And take a bag of salt too.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for the volunteers and the first responders and everything that gets done in this city without us having to do anything up here.
Amen.
I'm thankful for the warm welcome everybody's given me within the city since I've been elected, and I'm thankful for dissent. If we were all complacent all the time, the process would never get refined, and we would never have improvement.
All right, very good. All right, I think the bottom line is we all love North Augusta. We're a great community, so y'all have a very happy Thanksgiving. Yeah.
You have
Oh, JD, I didn't get a chance to.
You have two things.
Oh.
One, you have an announcement video that we want to show before you adjourn. And,
Oh, yeah.
And then, but before you do that, I just wanted to remind, you asked me to make an announcement that we heard council last week about Christmas decorations, holiday Christmas decorations, and just letting everyone know that I've talked with Rick Meyer, and he's going to, we're tasking the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee to review what we do and to give us guidance on how to expand or what to do differently moving forward. So we're going to stand up a committee to evaluate, to make sure that our citizens have a very nicely decorated city.
Well, I sent that, Tracy Hooks, Commuter Graphics sent, and I think I sent it to you, Mayor, too, about where the decorations. So, and in the
Yeah.
Riverview Park, they're up.
We're working on it.
I saw them tonight.
Oh, this is so, okay, guys, this is, now we're blowing people out, okay? This is, you want to know why we're investing in Riverview Park in our amphitheater right now? Watch this. So ice skating is no charge. We'll have skates, 6 hours every day, all the way up until whatever it said there. And you can go to Explore North Augusta to get all the information. So I think it's going to be this is going to be big. I've never done it before, so I might as well try.
Come on down and find
Yeah,
out.
there's a company that does it all. The whole floor of the amphitheater with the stages will be ice. It's gonna be, think about skating on the river. Skating next to the river, how about it? All right, so now, are we standing adjourned now?
Well, I just want to say that on behalf of all the citizens and or city employees, I'd just like to say we're thankful for mayor and council. I know I'm thankful for our amazing staff here at the city, and I'm very grateful for the wonderful citizens that we get to serve every day. So just wanted to make that plug before we get out of here.
Kayla, what about you, girl? You think? Chief, how about you? James? All right. Fantastic. All right. We stand adjourned. Have a good Thanksgiving.